Hello and welcome back to another session of GitPython development, GitPython maintenance to be precise. It's Byron speaking, and we are looking at issue 302, calling repo.index.add with a symlink to a directory adds contents of symlink directory, but not the symlink. I have a Git repo that I'm using to in a pretty roundabout way. Basically, I have a repo master directory which stores a bunch of folders that have content in them. Then I have some repo section folders to identify where each piece of content goes, assuming the directory to the section it belongs in. Calling git add on the symlink directly adds the symlink and not the content of the link directory. After initializing the repo with GitPython, repo index add and then the symlink accordingly results in all of the items from the folder being added as if dear symlink were a folder, but that does not add its folder. See git output below. So I just assume that this is the section here. Untracked files. What am I seeing? Yeah, it's kind of weird, is it? So we have an untracked file here, which is the symlink, I guess. And then it kind of adds the contents of the directory at these paths. Yeah, that's what happens. Kind of as a copy, I suppose. Yeah, after git reset head, this is the git status. Okay, so what remains then is the symlink that was never added. Yeah. I assume he's using the latest version, and even if he wouldn't be, I think there wasn't a lot of stuff going on there. So let's see what we can do. First, I guess we have to reproduce this. Let's just get rid of the stuff we don't need. Index base. Add. So here we go, test index bare add. Okay, so there are a few tests that we could use. Items. What goes on here? So here we have items. Multiple types of items are supported. Types can be mixed within one call. Different types imply different handling. File path may generally be relative or absolute. Path denotes strings denote a relative or absolute path into the repository pointing to an existing file. I'm reading this because I hope that at some point I read something about symlinks. Absolute path must start with a path provided like this must exist. When added, they will be written into the object database. Path strings may contain globs such as this and that, blah, blah, blah. This equals a straight git add. Well, kind of, it would be implemented correctly. Then you can add blobs or submodule objects. So if you use blobs, then of course you would have full control. Oh, there's something about symlinks. Their path must exist in the file system relative to the Git repository as an object. Will be created from the data at the path. The handling now very much equals, oh my god, sorry. Oh, there we go. The handling now very much equals the way string paths are processed, except that the mode you have set will be kept. This allows you to create symlinks by setting the mode respectively and writing the target of the symlink directly into the file. So this equals the default Linux symlink, which is not dereferenced automatically, except that it can be created on file systems not supporting it as well. I see, so you can simulate basically anything that you want. But symlinks out of the box don't seem to be supported. Symlink, okay, where else do I mention it? Handles non-symlinks as well. All right. Store file at file path in the database, return the base index entry, okay. So here there is something about symlinks. Entries for path. So, what happens? So it actually checks if it's a symlink and only reads the symlink. So that should work, right? Okay, so you could make it work by having one of these index objects, which are probably too low level to actually use. But from what I see here, I would expect this to work. To do something more useful than adding the directory itself. So, is there any symlink test? There is a symlink test. Test index mutation. So, we create a symlink. And add this link file. Wait a second. Let's have a look at. So yeah, I'd be thinking this add needs to be an array, right? So I don't think this is what the code actually does, because that would not work, I suppose. Is one and is link entries to remote. So here it's actually checked, right? Nose test 2.7 git test index. What was this again? I think include index mutation. Something with mutation. That didn't work. It ran a test anyway. Damn it, I always forget this. -I. See, this actually works. It should work. Or is it? Maybe it has been renamed, the test, because of the wrapper, which shouldn't be, because of the decorator, which, as I said, shouldn't be the case. Maybe the thing didn't match, really. Damn it, you. Yeah, probably didn't match because this actually is not a real regular expression. Well, whatever. Fine. If you don't like it, then why don't you leave it? Because anyway, it does work. So we have a test here that does that, and it appears to do the right thing, even though this is a symlink to a file, not to a directory. So that's still a difference. So why don't we change it? Just for testing now, we will symlink a file, a directory. Oops. Oh ho. Yeah, let's symlink a directory, because that failure is not supposed to happen. Oh, look at that. Entries, edit, store path. So it tries to, yeah, you know what? I think I just reproduced the issue. So for target in etc, that, by the way, the target doesn't actually necessarily exist. Let's call it non-existing, whereas etc exists and is a directory, and this one, etc pass, is it password or etc pass wd. There we go. So that also exists. And yeah, let's take this last, like this. And etc pass w password will not be modified by my user, because this would need root permission. So in case this test wants to do something shitty that it obviously shouldn't do, but you never know, then it will not succeed. So, and for each target. So I think that's the kind of test we actually want to have here. And now I would expect this to fail at the very end. Oh, whoa. So now we have even different errors. File exists. Oh, my real symlink. It doesn't delete it. Link file. But where? But this should be in a temporary directory, right? Join RW repo working dir. Ah, so yeah, sure. It tries to do it in the same directory, but we should probably remove the file here. OS remove. I don't know. Does it exist? Oh, look. So now it actually works. I think the previous time it didn't work because, yeah. Good. So the previous issue we have seen is because there was some hiccup with the existing symlink file. Something like that. Oh, wait, target was overwritten. So now we are back to the actual test that we want. So now we should hopefully reproduce this. Yes, there we go. Cool. So I'm able to reproduce this issue. And I'm working on a fix. I hope that doesn't take too long. But considering we have a test case here, trial and error will be easily done. So I have the feeling that store path, preprocess, add items. I think one of these guys might actually want to resolve this. So store path comes too late. Entries for path. If path rewriter. Also another difficulty. Either expand path. I think this either expand path could be doing it, and it just doesn't check if it is a symlink. So let's get the code here for the symlink. Either expand path. Here we go. And we get through all the path, make it absolute if necessary. See if there's some glob in there. If so, we glob it and keep going. But here we walk the absolute path. But before we do anything like that, we should probably check. Oh, let me guess. Else that raises or throws if it's a symlink, huh? What is RS here? Ah, it makes it relative. The path. That's what I see here. So before you use this. Yeah. Okay. So let's try that. Yeah. Let's see what happens if you don't do anything with that. And of course, that should be apps path. So we get an OS error. I kind of expected that, but didn't know it. Except, and that's so annoying, having these exceptions throw all the time. Now that I use Rust primarily, kind of shows me how exceptions should not be used when I am back in a language that uses exceptions, at least like Python does. So, and check symlink. So, the else stat call may fail as the file, as the path may contain globs as well, but that's not relevant here. So we don't care about this. If it fails, we just keep going. If it doesn't fail, try accept else. I hope that works. If it doesn't fail, we keep going and check if it actually is a symlink. And if it is a symlink, we continue on that one and yield the replaced thing. So what should we use here? Apps path. Do I want to wait? If this apps path, I'm just asking myself, which one should I use? RS is the repository working tree, dear. I know I have to add the right path, and I think these should be relative. Expand the directories in a list of paths to the corresponding path accordingly. Whoa. It doesn't say anything about the expected output if it's supposed to be relative. It looks like it's supposed to be relative. Root. Yeah, the root here is an absolute path. So why don't I just do it similarly here, huh? So apps path, replace RS with that. That should do something useful. Okay, so let's see. Voila. So this test here verifies that we only add one entry for a symlink, and that this actually is a symlink. So I suppose that this fixes the issue and breaks nothing else. At least this is what the test tells me, which is now much better than before because it tests all of the cases that there can be, I think, right? At least on Linux. Did you know that in Rust there's full native symlink support for Windows as well? Because Windows actually has an API for this. Windows can do it since, I don't know, Windows Vista. Windows Vista added support for symbolic links. And nobody supports this really, even though it's there, which is cool because Rust kind of does it as part of the standard library, which is OS agnostic. Anyway, let's make a commit here. Fix index, add handle adding symlinks to dears. So this closes or fixes 302, I think. Yep. 302. When expanding directories, check if it is a symlink and don't expand them at all. Previously, we followed symlinks, and yeah, we followed symlinks and expanded their contents, which could lead to weird index files. Indeed, that's kind of what we have seen in 302. Weirdness, but understandable weirdness. It's nothing out of the extraordinary. Cool. So that should be that. Of course, I'm quite overconfident that this actually fixes the issue. So we will have to wait for this. Well, I'm not waiting for feedback, but I, of course, will let him know that he may try the latest version. Master, which contains a fix for your issue, for the issue at hand. I really prefer to use, I don't know, not use possessive Is it a pronoun, possessive pronoun? So it's not your issue, it's an issue, it's the issue. It's never someone's, because yeah, it's much more polite to say it that way. Because nobody wants to have issues, right? Even though it's an issue in GitPython. That is truly here and was first discovered by Ben N. So thanks for posting this. Very nice issue, very informative. It's usually helpful to also inform about the versions used, like which Python versions do you use. Do you use the latest GitPython version, which I just assume most of the time? Because most of the time it's people don't tell, even though some actually use an old version. So anything else? Thanks for letting me know the issue description. Was very helpful indeed. There we go. That is that. So thanks for watching and have a good day.